Hello and welcome to today's news on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshak. We'll begin with the front pages of the daily starts with Vanguard. Vanguard, the leading story, says no more negotiation, ransom payment to terrorists. That's coming from Defense Minister General Musa. Reps seek a transparent prosecution of terrorism-related cases. Senate backs death penalty for kidnappers, financiers, informants, others. Open trial of terrorists won't change anything. That's coming from lawyers. You can see that story on page 5. On page 9, Chatima to governors. Overcome challenges, not explain them. 4 trillion naira debt. Angry contractors besiege finance minister, demands a 760 billion naira payment. Gunmen attack Abia governor's team in Imo. United States issues visa ban on Nigerians involved in anti-Christian violence. FEC OK's 2026 to 2028 MTF project 34.33 trillion naira revenue. Lastly, on Vanguard newspaper, CBN removes limit on cash deposits, raises weekly withdrawal limit. That story can be seen on page 19. Away from that, we'll move to the Punch newspaper. The major headline says abduction crisis. National Assembly asks the federal government to name terrorism financiers. Lawmakers demand guards for schools. Worship halls. New defense minister probes Akebi kidnap. Army general's death. You can see that story on page 2. On page 36, miners reject governor's 6-month mining ban plan. AMCON repays 3.6 trillion naira loan to CBN. CBN ends a cash deposit limit for bank customers, and 22 Lagos PSP operators are fired for underperformance. These stories can be seen on pages 36, 35, and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And top left corner, we have federal government unveils 54 trillion naira budget as debt service gobs 16 trillion naira. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, United States malls visit bans over alleged Christian killings in Nigeria. The nation's leading story says senators, reps rise against terrorism, banditry, killings, kidnapping, terrorism to attract a death penalty. With concerted efforts, will defeat insurgents, says General Musa. You can see that on page 6. Senate panel recommends clearance for ambassadorial nominees. Okay, I read that. I had to. You can see that on page 7. United States imposes visa restriction on violators of religious freedom. FEC approved MTEF projects, 50.74 trillion naira revenue for 2026. NEC OK's 100 billion naira security training rehabilitation. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, CBN raises deposit limits, withdrawal threshold. You can see that story on page 8 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you are just joining me, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and joining me to analyze some of the stories on the front pages this morning is Mr. Oludari Mayowa, publisher, Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning, Damlola. Thanks for having me today.
Yes. All right. The new Defense Minister, General Christopher Musa, said yesterday there should be no negotiation with or payment of ransom to terrorists in the country. And of course, this is not the first time we're hearing this. But what do you think about this? Coming from the new Defense Minister.
Okay, again, first of all, General Christopher Musa seems to be the fit for purpose minister. When I talk about defense, he was a former chief of defense staff, the general in the army, for retired. So we can say he has all the practical experience and knowledge of the system and the warfare we are backing up. And I'm sure, but listen to him yesterday, you know that he was a commander of the army, but he doesn't have the political will to influence some of those areas which he ought to influence to make the success of the war. So being on this table now, I believe he has the right capacity to address the issue and giving all the support from the presidency and the political elites. And for his statement about no negotiation, I think it's the right on point. But because if government functionary and negotiating with terrorists and paying ransom. You are further empowering them to continue their acts. You are not discouraging them because it's a compensation. That's why you are set failure that you cannot cope them. So you are paying them so they can retrieve their capital from them. So it shows weakness on the part of government, shows weakness on the part of the nation as a whole. So if the new Minister of Defense or the Minister of Defense, because they have not been sworn in, he's saying no negotiation, and he has a political way to carry on that, I think we will be nearing the end of the terrorism in this country. Because if government actually decide to do all it needs to stop terrorism in this country without compensating them, without rewarding them, then we are nearing the head of this. Because that's what we need, deterrence. So we are all in support of his statement, and that should be the right way to go.
But could this policy inadvertently, put hostages' lives at greater risk, especially, vulnerable school children or civilians, if, the captors know that the government will never negotiate or pay ransom?
Yes, there's a way you can free those who are in their captivities, through various means. For example, how did the American come to Nigeria and free one single person? They came to Nigeria, fly over Nigeria, rescue the guy, and kill all the 5 captors, the abductor. Why did they do that? How did they do that? I think we can. If we train our men, our security men, they will be able to do it. Rescue people in captivity without causing harm to them, and massively inflicting harms on those people. Because let me tell you something: criminals equally are afraid of death. They are afraid of being killed. So if you show the will, I'm sure we have the capacity to curb them. I think they will let relentless in their heart. So it's government to show the will and the power for equip the army, provide all the necessary technology to track them, to monitor them. If you use drone to monitor them, there are points you see them they are not with the captive. You take out their commanders and they order the army. All of them will scatter. They abandon their captive. So there's other ways of rescue those in their captivity without paying ransom, negotiating with them.
So, but what are the major things that you think the new defense minister, should prioritize, or what are the things that you think it needs to place, and what steps do you think it needs to make in order to increase the performance of the defense ministry?
Yeah, one of the most salient issue that the minister should address is the welfare of our security men and women. Those who are in the war front. Like somebody said recently, you kill somebody in 3 months in the war front fighting about it, there's going to be a fatigue, there's going to be mental disturbance, there's going to have suffer mental illness in such a way, because he get used to the environment. There's something new to him again. There should be a way of rotating them. What have happened to our security agency in the last couple of years have been that people lobby to be taken to the warfare. So they are reserved in other minor areas. But some people are permanently stationed at the war front. And no doubt they will suffer some mental depreciation. They will lose their firepower. They are boring. They are facing so many other kind of things. So they'll be more protective of themselves than confront the will. So we need to renew them. Maybe every month we call people who are there for reflection to go and meet with their family, take other sets to the war front. Then make sure their welfare are well protected, they are well taken care of. They are paying them peanuts, and you are giving them gun to go and be killed. So we must, first of all, take care of them, ensure that we improve on their welfare of our combatants, for their promotion. The economy was complete about promotion, delay promotion, as to drag their point. People who have been serving, if they pass on the exam, they ought to be promoted. Don't subject promotion to people who will or who do you know. Ensure that people are promoted, they are motivated. Ensure you have enough manpower. Ensure that the deployed technologies in every area, in all the aspects. Tracking, how do you track these people? They are not ghosts. You use drone to track them. You monitor their communication gadgets. You can block their on TikTok, posting pictures. Why can't you track them, locate them? So we should discourage all of this one and ensure that we block all their supplies, supply of fuel, supply of ammunition, supply of equipment, supply of other things, of foods. How do they get their food? So government should be able to ensure that we have a total blockade against them. That's how we can win the war. So the Minister of Defense must prioritize welfare, ensure that there are more budgetary allocation to equipment, and the money are spent on the equipment. I spent on equipment and I spent on the welfare of the people. During the last dispensation, for example, there was a court case concerning how the NSA money allocated for equipment for people in war was spent on pre-immigration, political party rallies and the rest. 4.something billion, which are meant to equip them, are meant to buy armament for them, are spent by politicians to do political rallies, to send people to privilege. So we must desist from this kind of thing and stop corruption in the Ministry of Defense. This should be its priority, so that we can win the war quick and fast.
Well, as part of response to the abduction crisis in the country, the National Assembly has called on the federal government of Nigeria to publicly name and prosecute terrorism financiers. What do you think about this?
That's very imperative. We have this thing. If you can recall, like Lai Mohammed, during their tenure, they have a list. They will soon publish it. And they spent 4 years, they didn't publish it. We have spent 2+ years down, we have not published it. That means there's something they know that we don't know. Why is the list being keeping away from the public? If UAE could publish those, arrest those people, some from those people, and send a list to us to arrest, why are we shielding them away from prosecution? Are they political people that cannot be touched? Are they untouchable? If they are untouchable, then why should we not even have a conference with them? Say, look, stop this thing, otherwise we'll disgrace you. Why government cannot just say, look, we are going to cover you, we are going to give you an amnesty as long as you are not continuing in your diverse needs. There should be a measure, but there should not be hidden place for because of criminalities or banditry or terrorism in this country. There should be a deterrent. As long as you leave them working free, they continue in their own evil ways. That means some people in government are benefiting from these routes. So it's imperative, it's essential that you mount pressure on the government to publish those lists. Not only publish the list, prosecute them, arrest them, prosecute them, let them be a deterrent to others who are in that thing. That's where we can restore confidence in the war against terrorism in this country.
Mm-hmm. All right, but talking about this, do you think this will strengthen the kidnappers more, or do you think this will increase more the public trust, the trust that the public has on the federal government if these financiers are named?
No, we have cases of a person who was a commander of the ISWAP for jail 20 years for offense that attracted death penalty. He's talking about corruption all over the place. Why should a judge sentence a terrorist who has killed people, and when it does stipulate death sentence and for 20 years? That's why we have the issue of the radicalization of repentant Boko Haram, ISWAP, and the rest. Why should we have that kind of policy in this country? People are destroying their military personnel. We are demoralizing the CDS. Former CDS said so yesterday that the folks are not happy. What the political angle management of the war. When we are giving amnesty to them, when we say we are radicalizing them and sending them back to their community or send back to improvement in the military and security forces, this should be discouraged. If somebody commits crime, let that person pay for the crime. Strengthen our judiciary. I think the government should establish a special tribunal that can try the terrorist crime in this country, so that number one, can accelerate the process. It will take about 10-16 years for a case to be finalized. It is too long. We should have about minimum of 1 year for any case of terrorism, so that it can pass judgment, and governors should sign death warrant for those who are on death row.
Hmm.
In the last couple of years, more than 60 years, none of the government assigned a death row, death sentence for people that have been gained. That means there are people government are hiding from the people. We cannot deter criminality in this country if we are not taking decisive steps to curb it.
All right. Recently, the Northern governor they called for a 6 month suspension of mining and supported creation of, and of course, that's when they supported the creation of state police. Now, the miners they've rejected these move. The 6 month suspension of mining due to the northern governors have said this is this is also linked to the crimes going on in the northern part. Now, why do you think the miners have rejected this move despite the insecurity going on in the country?
I think the point about mining is that it's not all over the country that the mining is causing insecurity. We can look at some of these things that is Zamfara State and other parts of the north where there are illegal mining going on in this country. So, and as one I wonder, why should a government allow such to go? These people build a tarmac inside the forest where they land their helicopters, their light plane to uplift, to lift gold and other minerals from those forests and take care of this country without any detections. And when you say suspending, yes, it's good to suspend mining, but I can tell you there are ungoverned space where we cannot enforce those suspensions. That's why the bandits, terrorist people are operating. They're like a sheet around those illegal mining in the northern part of the country. And it has been going on for long because there are political leaders that are involved in sharing the loot from that. They're the ones that are giving them the coverage. And as long as the government cannot summon the political way to deal with people who are sponsors, who are behind these illegal minings, then there's no way suspension will just be on paper announcement without any biting effect on terrorism in this country. Likely, like something I've said, the major reason for terrorism in the north are illegal minings on government territory where they just use the banditry and the rest to be a sheet to shield security people from getting to those sites. So they commit crime, they shield them away. They cannot move to those forests until you are able to bring to justice those who are behind those things, sponsoring your terrorism, sponsoring of illegal mining. The Chinese are more in this country today, coming to this illegally mining our minerals and taking out of this country. You want to tell me that there is no person in government that's behind them, that's backing them up. So until we are able to, summon the political will to ensure that whoever is behind, no matter the opposition in the government, you are dealt with. That's the way we can solve this madness going on in this country.
All right, let's quickly talk on this. This one, our time is fast spent. Now, United States has announced new visa restrictions targeting Nigerians accused of undermining religious freedom. The U.S. Secretary of State on X said that the restriction would affect those who knowingly direct, authorize, fund, support, or carry out violations of religious freedom. And he said this visa policy applies to Nigeria and other governments or individuals that persecute people for their religious belief. What's your take on this?
Is it part of the sanction against those who are doing evil? If there's no deterrence, time will continue. And whatever measure we can garner, either from foreign support, Nigerian support, I think the government should support it in any way. If it can deter people who are sponsoring criminality in this country. Because for example, you are sponsoring insecurity in this country, terrorism in this country, and your families can take them out of this country. You can travel out of this place. They are not affected. But if you are deterred from traveling, if you are not able to take their family away from the scene of the crime scene, then probably they will have restraint, they have caution. They won't do it. So whatever effort the right support can get from the internal committee, I think we should welcome it. We support it, like General Buhari Obasanjo said. If you cannot do it, and somebody else want to do it for us, why not? Why not give us the backing in whatever means? The denial of visa, now whatever they need to do, revocation or whatever they have, let us welcome it. Let us ask for it. And maybe that will help us to fight the criminality in this country.
Thank you, Mr. Maiwa, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me today, and I'll have a lovely day.
Yes, and you too. And this is what we have to draw the curtain today. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. Do what to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can also visit our website, www.vanguardnjr.com. Have a lovely Thursday.